Ray Dalio, and a few more of his tactics or principles. Fuck yeah. So with this being said, hello and welcome back to the next episode of the Self-Development with Tactics fucking podcast. I'm pretty fucking pumped to be here, as always. Always nice to be here. Actually doing a little break of learning English, to be honest, because I'm having a test tomorrow. Yes, and then on Friday once again, which is a little bit fucked up, to be honest, because, most of the time I'm quite thinking like, okay, I'm doing enough with English and for English and whatsoever, because, I'm doing it every day for quite half an hour or even more, writing, speaking, listening, quite everything that I need. And then I just have to learn things that I actually have to learn, like, some sentence structures or analyzing what words and or forms are in a sentence and those things, I do not really want to complain, and I'm quite, I'm feeling somehow challenged, to be honest, which is great as well. I'm not being like, English is the most easiest thing and whatsoever. It definitely is not, not all the time. I like the language. I really love the language somehow. I don't know why, but I've quite always, liked it. And most recently, like, it's been my life quite. And I guess that's quite understandable. And maybe it's just because I need it. Maybe it's just really because I need it for the things that I want to do. But I don't know. So as I said in the intro, hopefully, I said, because I'm not cutting anything out. This is actually part of I'm just doing everything live. Like, the intro is live, and so this is also live. Thank you for not having a window. That's great. That's super duper great. Let's see. Now it's there. So as I said, we are going to go through another part of the Principles by Ray Dalio. I really love the book, and I really appreciate it because there's so much in it, and I kind of feel like, there's everything in it that you actually somehow also need. Like, all these principles are basically all the really just kind of these things that all the, not only motivational speakers, but also all the self-help books and also the self-development books suggest you to do. Like, it's always about being truthful to yourself. Not quite always, but a lot of them just talk about it as well. And I do think there will be just a few more things that is actually, like, pretty common. Yeah, that's the word that I was searching for. Pretty common for, this genre, I would say, for books. Which is not bad, because basically you could also or only kind of read this one and then nothing else. But or maybe not, because, just diversifying the sources you're having for your knowledge is also somehow important, I would say. But the last time we actually started with the 5-step process, and what to do with it and how to actually kind of so that the second one, like the 5-step process, is common sense and whatsoever. So therefore, we are going ahead with people are wired very differently, which is totally fucking true. And I could just write a song about it. There's actually just a German, is it a phrase? Because I don't actually know. It's just a German saying, actually, to write a song about something. Like, I could write a song about something. Or about this. But whatsoever. So people are wired very differently. Which they actually are. They think, what happened there? It kinda did something. I don't know what. So people are wired very differently. They think in different ways and have different blind spots, which is totally normal, I guess, which is also totally great, because then, if you're talking to a person, you're not basically talking to yourself, but to someone who is thinking differently, who has, different opinions, not in every way, but, the chances are pretty high, and whatsoever. And have different blind spots. And this promotes conflict and misunderstandings with poor communication. Totally right. Practice thoughtful disagreement. Practice thoughtful disagreements to see their viewpoint and arrive at the truth together rationally. Very important. Just, this is actually something that's really truly important to point out, that actually being able to kind of really thoughtfully disagree, because I would say that often people actually get somehow attacked personally if you're disagreeing with them. Also in terms of actually people that are you're being in a subordinate of someone, and this certain someone, because I don't know what it is, vice versa, therefore I'm just explaining it this way. So this person kind of thinks like, okay, it's a threat against me and my personality. If this person is disagreeing with me, he's not showing respect and whatsoever, which seems to be actually the case for a lot of parents. Like, they think only because their child's actually kind of disagreeing with them, because it's just about the argument, or it's just about this one statement or opinion, that they actually kind of feel like, okay, my child is kind of disrespectful with me or against me or whatsoever, what it is. And it's not. It's actually like, okay, it is not my opinion. Like, I do have a different opinion than you're having. And I think that's totally fine. Like, what would you do? Like, yeah, you could definitely talk to the people and kind of convince them or pursue them to actually think somehow differently. But, like, it's great that we all have different ways of thinking and different opinions, even though I do just have to say and correct myself, it's not about opinions there. It is really only about thinking differently, and which is also quite, even though it's just it is such a simple thing, or such an understandable thing, I guess, it still leads to so many communication mistakes or failures, or just some arguments or whatsoever, because I don't know why. Like, maybe we just need more empathy. This could actually be the case, but just have to turn on my lights. The weather here in Austria is still, or at least in my place, not in all over Austria, but in my place, it's still quite shitty. Like, it's raining at the moment, but it seems to be like that tomorrow is gonna be a lot of nicer weather, which is great, which is totally great, because being in school, I practically do not really care about what the weather is like, because when I'm all day long in school, it's could probably piss me off if I'm just going outside of school and actually going to the train or something. But when I'm in school, it's just like, okay, who cares? I'm here just anyway. So yeah. So view yourself from the top down as a machine. You're both a worker and the designer of the machine. You need to alter your machine to produce better outcomes. That's totally true. Like, eat fucking healthy, god damn it. Like, it's so easy. Like, it's simple. It's not easy. It is pretty simple. All the people who are just willing to lose weight, eat less and work out, and that's it. Like, you do not need any fucking shakes. You do not really just need anything. You do not even need weights. You could just run or cycle or whatsoever if you're able to. Like, for some people who are really overweight, just having some machinery and having some kind of weights or something like this could actually be very, very beneficial, I guess. Also in terms of your bones and whatsoever, because the whole weight just really can do a lot of harm to your joints and bones and whatever there is. So therefore, I understand this, but most of the time when people just do want to lose weight, it is because the reason why they don't get to this point is that they just do not do what they should be doing. Like, there would be just kind of drinking fat burners or some shit of this, but they don't have to. Like, the easiest thing and the thing that's just always been working, that has always been working, will always work, is just eating healthy and working out and eating less than you're just needing to have, like being a caloric deficit, which means that you practically kind of just eat less amount of calories than you actually need, and then there is no physical way that you can actually gain weight. I know it's not possible, as I know at least. It is really not possible. So it really is that simple. It's totally not easy. For everyone that's losing weight or willing to lose weight, I'm not saying that it is easy. I'm only saying that it is simple. And for me, there's just a big difference, but it really is not simple. Like, being such discipline and being just, such a human being who's actually so willing to lose weight and do everything for it, it's just amazing. And I'm just really having respect, from the people or of the people, because it's just tough. It really is. And especially if they actually accomplish their goal, I'm just really like, okay, respect. But yeah, enough enough of these things. So just gonna go ahead a little bit. So in the workplace, the idea meritocracy is the best way to make decisions. Bring together smart, independent thinkers, have them thoughtfully disagree, and abide by agreed upon ways of getting post disagreement. This will yield the best collective thinking. Necessary for idea mediocrities to work are radical truth, very important. If the people aren't truthful to themselves and aren't like, okay, this fucking idea is shit. Like, if, all the people are just saying, okay, everyone's idea is so good, we should work on all of them, it would just, take a lot of time to actually get to these ideas who actually are great. Like, yeah. And I've been talking about something very, very, very important in terms of truthfulness and why I should be truthful in the last episode. And I would totally suggest you to go through the last episode, because I think that every single episode of this certain book is actually valuable, because he's just, talking about or writing about actually so many things that are actually so important that I guess that every single episode will be kind of great. At least I hope they will. So radical truth is the first one, with no filter on what you're thinking, a radical transparency, thoughtful disagreement, and believability weighted decision making. Just as in life, view the organization as a machine and yourself as an engineer. Any problem may signal a problem in the machine's design, so don't ignore this. Which makes sense. Like, if there's a problem, the thing there is, it is pretty a great analogy. Is it an analogy or it is a metaphor? I think it's a metaphor, or however you pronounce it in English. But I think it really is, because the thing is, if you're having a machine, like, let's say a car or something, and something isn't quite working the right way, I think some of the people would wait, because, sometimes it's actually feeling like, okay, it's nothing that bad. And I totally understand this. I would totally do it myself, because I do not want to spend money for anything but food, actually. And when I'm just buying food, I'm just very frugal about it as well. So I'm just not really into spending any money of mine. But the thing is, if this machine, whether it be a car or whether it be something else, if this machine is actually showing that something is wrong, waiting for a bit could actually work. Like, it could work itself out, and maybe it's just something like, some stones in, like, I don't know what could be a case. Maybe you need just some fluid, or you're not just, having the right fuel for your motor, or, so some really stupid and easy things. That could actually be the case. And I would say it could actually also be the case for your organization as well. But the thing is, if it is actually something like, yeah, okay, in the beginning, it still can be very small, but if it's just, noticeably just, getting worse and worse and worse, not doing anything against it, yeah, you won't do it with your car as well. Like, if you really notice, like, okay, there is something going on with my car, it doesn't seem to be that well doing that well, I think you would just go to some engineer or whatever he's called. I don't know. The funny thing is, some of these very simple and easy words, and words that I should probably know, I don't know, but I know what serendipity is. Something that you will never ever kind of need. Somehow. Understand the parts in the machinery, very important as well. the people, the process, the culture, like a foreman understands his tools. I think very important, and also very great metaphor as well, because yeah, it makes sense, if you're just actually in terms of solving it, like actually in terms of kind of repairing the machinery again, if you're having a motor or car once again, and some tire is broken or some belt is broken, which is somehow kind of moving something. I don't have quite too much knowledge about motors and cars. About motors a bit, but yeah, it just if something isn't working right and you want to repair it, then it would be great to actually understand how a motor is working, what the parts of it are, and what the parts are actually doing, and then I think you can figure out what part is actually not doing the right thing, and then you want to kind of repair it, this part, or you want to buy a new one, or you want to just change it up, or you kind of even take it out of the whole machinery if it is kind of working, which is not often the case, but sometimes it is. And I think it's the exact same thing with your organization. Like, you could just hire a new employee. You could fire one and hire one, or you could just hire one additionally who could just solve the whole problem in the just machinery, quote unquote. But yeah, so the third thing is the ideal to create a machine that works so well you can sit back and watch beauty happen. This really reminds me on just scaling business, like actually kind of taking you out of the whole business and just leaving it for or by the employees, like just having a CEO and having whatsoever, and everything is working and you don't have to do anything. Codifying your decision-making rules in the principles will speed up and improve the quality of decision-making. Okay, I don't see just the reason behind it. So see situations as just another one of these. So I think I get it now. Like, I guess he's just, also referring to his book, first of all, and second of all, just, kind of talking about like, okay, having proper rules of the ideologies or of the things you're just dealing a lot with. Like, if you do just have to hire a lot of just employees and or fire them, maybe you're just gonna have a rule like, okay, if there's somebody in your whole organization who is doing just something really fucking bad 2 times, you're gonna fire him. And then you're like, okay, it's another one of these, and then you fire this person. Even though, like with firing and hiring it's something that's involving just, human beings. And there are a lot of variables, and I just do not really want to be kind of heartless and anything about it, but it was just an example to really also talk about this once. Up to this point, I quite like this episode. I'm just feeling pretty energetic. I'm actually not feeling that, I'm kind of just, wasting time, or I'm not kind of just, losing any time, and or not actually having any time left when I'm just finished with the episode, because it's actually pretty early. I've had 3 hours less of school today, actually, which was great. Because I'm able to just learn English now and do the podcast and or the video as well, which is great, which is something I love. And one thing that I'm really hoping that I'll just be able to do is actually going to bed on a proper time today. Like, it would really be great, and it would also be great for the test that I'm going to write tomorrow, because what I'm noticing is actually that, that is really just, fucking with my performance somehow. In terms of learning, yes, as well, because I'm definitely seeing what was in Why We Sleep, which was a great book, and I've done just, several episodes about it. And if you're interested what sleep does with you, why we sleep, how other animals are sleeping, and all these things, check out my channel, and or just, type in to Google or somewhere, YouTube, whether you just want to go through the summary as a podcast version or as the video version, just type in my name and it should probably just, come up. And if it is just a pretty late one, so if it's like, in the description, if there is like, this is the next episode of Why We Sleep, then just go, I'm sorry, to the first ones, and I think you should totally be able to find them. Life principles, and this is now actually the real summary. Like, it's not the 1-page summary any longer. I'm pretty fucking pumped, and I hope this episode is just working great. Like, I'm noticing somehow it is really great, and on the other side it's somehow mediocre. Like, yeah, gonna do my best. Really gonna do my best to provide something, to have fun. Actually, if you're also doing videos, totally something that I would suggest you to actually think of is actually having fun. Like, you should have fun by what you're doing, because if you're not having fun, you won't do it for such a long time. Like, I'm already quote unquote in for 6 months right now, which is something, I guess, which is totally something. So in terms of with YouTube and with the podcast and everything, it is 6 months now. With Instagram and social media in general, it's quite a year. I think by August or July or something, I'm gonna be a year, but it's just nothing. It's just really nothing compared to some other people who just been doing this for 8 years, like PewDiePie, for example, or 7 years or 6 years or 5 years. It's still way more, like 5 times more, or just 10 times more if you're gonna think about it. Like, okay, 6 months to half of a year, and you get the maths, I think. So the 5-step process for getting what you want. And the first one is set clear goals. The second one is identify problems and don't tolerate them. The third one is diagnose your problems to find root causes. The fourth one, design solutions to get around problems. The fifth one is to do the tasks required to completion. Amazing. Really fucking amazing. So breaking it down further. The first one is setting clear goals. And I've been quite talking about it in the 1-page summary as well. I think I'm maybe gonna just talk about it quite shortly. It depends on, what's standing there, what's staying there. No, it's standing there. But yeah, let's see. So be audacious. What do you think is unattainable is merely a function of what you know right now. So once you start, paths will emerge that were inconceivable before. Totally is right. Once you start, you really see some different things than before if you actually started. Something that I noticed as well somehow. And this is also one of the reasons maybe why I would say, like, just start. In general, as I said just 100 times before, I really like to have some practical knowledge and some theoretical knowledge before I'm actually starting. Because I kind of feel like maybe secure and maybe just good and well prepared, something like this, and so that I actually know what I'm having to do or what I just have to do to actually get to my goal, which would just make sense. Like, and this is one of the reasons why I won't just start out with something I completely don't know anything about. Just like, okay, now I'm gonna be an real estate agent, even though I have no fucking clue about real estate. I think I would just learn some things about it, just Google a little bit around, see what they're actually doing, and then think about actually kind of starting it quote unquote the right way, because there is no right way, because you will never know what the right way was. Maybe in the future you will know, but who knows? What have happened or what had happened if you had actually been doing it another way. Like, who knows? So if you know you can achieve your goal, you're not aiming high enough. It is actually a great one somehow. It really is, and it really reminds me on. I hope it actually is Les Brown, because a lot of these motivational speeches I've been listening to were involving just Will Smith, and I've just actually noticed that a lot of these quotes and a lot of these sayings that I enjoyed so much, like I guess it was like 70% of them have been from Will Smith, and as I've noticed this, it was quite amazing, because I was always thinking about Les Brown's speeches, and maybe their voices are so similar. Maybe I haven't giving attention to it too much, but But yeah, he has a lot of great sayings. This is something that I can say. Because one of them is that you should actually shoot for the moon and not for the stars, or the, vice versa. Because if you hit, if you miss the moon, you're still gonna hit the stars. But if you're aiming for the stars, and if you don't hit, if you miss, you won't hit anything. This is the whole saying, have high goals. Because if you really have high goals, you will work for those high goals. It's the same exact thing with school, actually, or with part of school, which is marks. Yeah, it is mark. I'm always kind of just mixing up with grades and whatsoever, but it's marks. It is marks, and if you're aiming for an A, if you're really aiming for an A++, let's say A+, or something like this, the chances, at my point of view at least, and the chances that you're actually getting just a B or a C or a D are way higher than if you would just, be just aiming for a B. Because you will be learning for a B, and learning for an A and learning for a B is something completely different, I guess. You would just learn way more, I guess, for an A than for a B if you're just really thinking about it. I think it's just in terms of your psychology, like you're expecting a B and therefore you won't be just doing as much as an A. But actually, if you, haven't been learning enough, you won't get the B. But chances are really high that if you haven't, if something goes wrong or I don't know what, and you have been aiming for an A, that you will actually hit the B. I've really liked it, once I've quite, understood it and I've heard it more often, I was like, it fucking makes sense. And it really was great for me. It really was. So ideally, your desires and primary wants align with your goals, your rational wants. Diets are hard because your desire, eat tasty food, conflicts with your goal, lose weight. The thing for me actually is that I'm having a much harder time to actually eat something that's not in my diet plan, or something that I quite won't be eating, like something that's unhealthy. Let's just put it like that. It's way harder for me to actually eat something that's not healthy than just, keeping my schedule and or just, doing what I've always been done, which is just not always been done, but what I've been done for the past months. I don't actually know this, the years or something, so I'm gonna say months, where I've been eating healthy, like I've been used to it, or now I just it's normal for me. It's like, I don't want to eat anything unhealthy, like I just don't want to, and it's much harder for me than to actually just eat something healthy. Like I'm feeling good afterwards, and I'm feeling also good mentally because I'm not eating something bad, like one of my kind of principles, if you want to tell them like this, or if you want so. So when the two align, it becomes easier to fulfill your goal, which is actually the thing, like, you want to eat tasty food, then just, eat healthy anyways, because the thing is, and I don't know if this is just something that people think, but healthy food does not mean that it has to be bad. For sure, like, some people like McDonald's, I think it tastes good. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't been eating something for 2 years or something, or 3 years even, but I think 3 years. 3 years could be just. Well, that's not true, because I've once eaten a wrap or something. So something that's still eatable for me, like something that I just thought was okay to eat, because I've looked at all the nutritional kind of things and facts, and I decided, okay, it's working somehow, but wrong one, not gonna be sad. But yeah, it's tasty, but the thing is, it's not healthy. It really is not. But healthy food does not have to be just tasting bad. There are so many things that really taste well, like salads in general. It always comes up to your personal preferences, but I would say a lot of people will like noodles, like whole wheat noodles. Totally okay, totally fine. Fish, like, also totally fine. Meat, just, like, with a good quality and with, like, just not too often. I think it's totally okay. Just vegetables in general, totally okay. Really can taste good. If you're not preparing them just great, I would say, like, then they're just somehow mediocre. And I would still eat them. I would still really love to eat them, even though maybe sometimes they taste better and sometimes they taste not as good. But yeah, just what I want to tell is, or what I want to say is, if eating tasty food and losing weight and not just being healthy aligns, it really is easy. It really is easy. The next thing is, choosing what not to do is often as important as choosing what to do. You can have just about anything you want, but not everything you want. Reject good alternatives to pursue even better ones. So you can have just about anything you want, but not everything you want. So reject good alternatives to pursue even better ones. Okay, don't confuse goals with tasks. I think tasks are actually the things that lead to your goals. Isn't it like this? I don't know. I really don't know. So if money comes up naturally, be wary is with a W, so WARY, of setting this as a primary goal. Meaningful work and relationships make you happy more than money does. Start with your real money goals, then work your way backwards into the money you need. And Delio argues having the basics, a good bed, good relationship, good food, good sex, is most important and don't get much better when you have more money. Which is totally right. If you're having a bad relationship with someone, or with your spouse, if it is really just crippling you, then I guess you can have just every single dollar on the fucking whole planet and you won't be happy anyways. Like, yeah, and I think it's the same thing with health. If you're just really unhealthy but have every single dollar of the whole planet, you still, would be just really unhappy because, like, yeah, you can't do anything with it. And if you have bad food, if you're just eating bad food all the time because somehow you're eating bad food even though you have money, then you won't also be just, that happy. But yeah, everything makes sense. Yeah. That was it with the episode. I do hope that you've liked it. I really have liked it somehow. It's been quite a really fast one. I'm quite thinking, like, when actually the last episode was somehow like this one. Like, it's been so freaking fast. Like, from the end, or from the start to the end, it's only been like, 10 minutes or something, or 5. Maybe it's just because it's way earlier than normally. But I think, yeah. I hope you've enjoyed it as well. I hope everything is okay with the audio, with the video, with quite everything. Also with me, like, if I'm just, quote unquote entertaining enough, or if my personality is good enough for this, what I'm doing. Because I think it's actually a big part of what I'm doing. Your personality and who you are. And if you can just, kind of, yeah, entertain somehow, is a pretty great part of being a YouTuber, being a podcaster, being just a social media person, I'd really say. But yeah, I wish you the best health, wealth, happiness, and success. Still, I hope you remind yourself on how you're going to be remembered. Like, what's the person going to say on your funeral? Either you're a good person or you're a bad person or something in between. But I think just being a bad person, something in between, something you not want to go to. Like, don't you want to pursue to be a good person and everyone just thinks about, like, you as a good person? Wouldn't this be great? Wouldn't this be fucking great? Just think about it. And I love you. And thank you for watching. Really, thank you for the bottom of my fucking heart. I thank you. And I'll see you the next time. Can't stop smiling.